When we think about the four cardinal heroes in the Rising of the Shield Hero, there is one idea that many fans accept as fact. The heroes cannot die. After all, they are the chosen ones summoned to save the world. Without them, the Waves of Catastrophe could never be stopped. But there is one problem. The story itself shows that this is not true. And several events suggest that the death of one of the heroes is a much more realistic possibility than most people realize. To understand why, we need to look at how the cardinal hero system actually works. Naofumi Iwatani, Motoyasu Kitamura, Ren Amaki, and Itsuki Kawasumi were not simply given legendary weapons. They were given a responsibility to protect the world from the waves. But receiving a cardinal weapon does not make someone immortal. Throughout the series, all four heroes suffer major defeats. They are injured, manipulated, betrayed, and repeatedly placed in situations where death is dangerously close. One of the clearest examples comes after the defeat against the spirit tortoise. That battle does not end with destruction alone. It exposes the massive weaknesses of the heroes. Ren, Itsuki, and Motoyasu realize they were far weaker than they believed. And their mistakes lead to disastrous consequences. Ren's case is especially important. After losing his companions, he suffers an emotional breakdown. His guilt pushes him toward one of the cursed series abilities of his sword. At that moment, he becomes incredibly vulnerable. Not only physically, but mentally as well. The story makes it clear that even a cardinal hero can come dangerously close to self-destruction. Itsuki experiences something similar. Manipulated and humiliated, he completely loses his sense of direction. His belief in justice is shattered, and his legendary weapon begins affecting his mind. Once again, we see a hero pushed beyond his limits. Motoyasu may be the most extreme example. After a series of failures and betrayals, his sanity collapses. His personality changes dramatically, and he begins seeing the world through a completely distorted perspective. These events reveal something important. The heroes are not invincible. In fact, many of the greatest dangers in the series are not monsters. They are the psychological scars left behind by battles and the burdens the heroes carry. But there is an even more important detail. The story confirms that heroes can die. In the light novels, we learn that other worlds also possess their own heroes. And some of those heroes have already been killed. This completely changes how we view the story. Because it proves that possessing a cardinal weapon does not guarantee survival. There are enemies powerful enough to kill the wielders of these legendary weapons. And there are situations where failure has permanent consequences. Another concerning factor is the constant escalation of threats. At the beginning of the series, the heroes fought relatively simple monsters. Then came enemies such as Glass, Larkberg, Kyo Ethnina, and increasingly dangerous threats connected to the waves. Every new arc raises the level of danger, and that means the risk facing the heroes continues to grow. There is also a narrative reason to consider. Many stories use the death of major characters to increase tension. When viewers believe nobody is truly at risk, part of the suspense disappears. But when an important protagonist can fall, every battle feels more meaningful. That is exactly why some fans believe the series may eventually sacrifice one of the heroes. Not necessarily Naofumi, but perhaps one of the other three. Especially because Ren, Motoyasu, and Itsuki have spent much of the story making mistakes, growing, and rebuilding themselves. A well-written death could serve as a dramatic conclusion to one of their character arcs. However, there is another side to this discussion. The four cardinal heroes are essential to the balance of the world. Their weapons serve unique purposes. And the permanent loss of one hero could create unpredictable consequences in the fight against the waves. That is why the series creates an interesting balance. It repeatedly shows that the heroes can suffer. They can fail. They can be defeated. And they can lose everything they have built. Yet at the same time, the story avoids revealing exactly how far that danger truly extends. In the end, the real question may not be whether one of the four heroes can die. Because the story has already shown that such a thing is possible. The more interesting question is this. If one of them were to die, who would be the most likely? Ren, Itsuki, Motoyasu, or perhaps someone the fans would never expect? And what do you think? Which of the four heroes is in the greatest danger in the future arcs? Share your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe to the channel, because there are still many hidden details in Shield Hero that could completely change the way we view the fate of the Cardinal Heroes.